Hey there guys, Jordan in the know here, and if you don't already know me, I am someone that loves phone cases and phone accessories that give my device a little bit of flair or just something unique to appreciate and something to look at. And I hate to say it, but I've seen pretty much all of the options for the Pixel 7. If you know of any better ones, please let me know. But right now, the lack of options or the lack of good options is what led me to pick up the Dbrand Grip Case. Not saying it's bad, but something about the Grip Case just has a massive appeal to my preferences in terms of protection and the many customization options and the overall case quality. First, and probably the most well-known aspects of this case are the customization options. I love this case particularly for that reason alone, and we can take a quick look here at how it's going to work. When you go to purchase your case, you can choose amongst 33 different skins for the back. Some are more expensive than others. I went with the leather, which was a total of $54 versus some of the cheaper skins that total out to $38 or $39. I went with the leather just because, if you know me, I love natural material like that, but of course, you can pick whatever works best for you. When you place your order, it shows up in this nice little Dbrand packaging. From there, you have to install the skin yourself, which I did make a video about that I will link somewhere around here. But overall, the customization options are plenty, and I love the idea that you can just buy a new skin whenever you get tired of your old one. And just to touch on the leather skin part of this real quick, when you first get your leather skin, it's going to start out as a light tan color, and the texture is going to feel a bit coarse. Over time, the leather darkens a lot, and the texture smooths out quite a bit. And this is how my leather skin has held up over 2 months of use, where you can already see places that have darkened much more than others due to sweat and just generally being handled more in some areas than others. The leather feels great to the touch and builds character over time with every scratch, bump, and scuff. After about a year or so, the leather ends up looking like a beat up old wallet, which for some, including me, is a feature. So I'm very happy with the leather skin option. And with that out of the way, I can finally talk about the other features that come with this phone case. I really do believe that Dbrand has gone out of their way to examine the typical phone case and bring some useful tweaks and adjustments that help make this feel different. And while those tweaks may seem small, it's something that I notice every single day. First is, of course, the grippy texture all the way around the frame of the case. It's really hard to describe exactly what it feels like, but just imagine a ton of tiny little nubs that help come together to make this grippy texture. In a way, this case doesn't even feel like rubber with that texture on it. Of course, paired with those glossy rubber extrusions and the heavily pronounced volume and power buttons, it definitely feels like this case does have that grip factor and produces a pretty intriguing feel in the hand. On top of that, there's a few more useful tweaks. The lip around the edge of the case is flush with the screen at the center, so gestures feel great and natural. Also, even though this case feels pretty chunky, Dbrand mitigates this quite a bit by curving the back edges of the case to help it have more of a natural hold. So all of that, plus the relatively wide clearance for third-party chargers, this case does seem very well-rounded in terms of comfortability. The only thing that I would still recommend is a glass screen protector, but I'm not risking my phone without one, no matter what case I'm using, including this one. In terms of protection and durability, I've had 2 grip cases in total. One I've had for a year on my iPhone 12 Pro, and of course the other one I've been using for the past few months on my Pixel 7. With both cases, both phones, I've never been worried about dropping my phone in this case, no matter the height or the surface. I feel like this is truly OtterBox level protection, as the rubber is so thick and dense and clearly made of a higher grade rubber material than other cheaper cases out there. I just can't see how anyone's phone could take damage, whether it's concrete or tile, indoor or outdoor, especially with a glass screen protector. Based on my 1 year with the iPhone 12 Pro grip case, their durability is pretty great. After a year, there's been no fraying, no falling apart or pieces coming off, although I have noticed that the ultra fine texture on the frame of the case has smoothed out quite a bit, so it's not as pronounced or as noticeable as it was when I first got it, which was to be expected, but still, I feel like you should know anyway. Now, with that all out of the way, I do need to get into the dislikes of this case, which my list is small, but still important. First, and the most subjective, is the price. To me, even though I think the price is worth it for the quality, I feel a little ridiculous spending $60-something on a phone case. If that doesn't bother you, of course, no problem. My next issue is that this case is super thick, and you can see why, because it looks like they extruded the whole back of the case to be flush with the camera bar. Design-wise, I think it works, so no big deal, but that doesn't take away from the fact that your phone is turned into a huge brick with this case on, albeit a nice feeling brick at that. Also, I like the design of the camera bar kind of just melting into the insides of the case, but I do wish they could have somehow incorporated the camera bar skin into the actual case itself. The way I see it, if you're ever in a situation where you want to take this case off and put a new one on, the camera bar skin has to be taken off with it, just because it won't fit underneath any other cases and it just gets in the way. So when you want to go back to the Dbrand Grip, you probably have to buy a new skin for the camera bar version itself. If the camera bar skin was somehow incorporated into the design of the case, you could easily swap cases without worrying about having to replace that camera bar skin. And then finally, I'm kind of annoyed that they do not install the skin for you, at least on the parts that they can. I'm sure it's some kind of liability issue, but still, you should allow me to opt in to having the company install the skin itself. I personally don't need this option, but many others do, and I get it. Installing it yourself can be a pain, it's easy to get wrong, so I'd appreciate it if there was an option to have the company install the skin on the case for me. It would just save a lot of headache. At the end of the day, I'm pretty confident recommending this case if A, you're okay with the price, and B, you are not too intimidated by the install itself. As I personally don't have any concerns besides those two caveats, I think for those who like customization, you may be able to look past those issues. If not, of course, a traditional OtterBox would probably be best for you if the price or installing the skins yourself might be a concern. But other than that, guys, I think we've covered everything here. But please, this video has turned out way longer than I expected it to be. Hopefully, at least the points that I brought up in this video will help you identify or at least have the good judgment for if this case is worth it for you or not. But other than that, guys, yeah, we've talked about everything about this case here. I'm enjoying it, although I'm really excited to try something new just because I've had it for a couple of months. But please don't let me trail off. I'll talk forever. Let me get out of here, guys. This has been Jordan in the Know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.